Okay, guys, so we're going to talk about an experiment that was done back in the 70s, and it was called the Rat Park experiment. And they did it several times. But what they did is over here, they created cages for rats to live in. One rat per cage. Had four walls, water, and food, and that was it. No interaction with other rats, nothing to do, just four walls, food, and water. Over here, they created an enclosure for several rats to live in, and they had things to do. They had the wheels and tunnels and things to climb on. They had the little trees painted on the walls. They had shavings on the ground. They had things that they were accustomed to living in, a very inviting environment. And they called that Rat Park. So I told you they had food and water, right? So they introduced an extra bottle of water in both scenarios. Over here, you would have regular water and drugged water. And same over here. So each cage had two types of water, regular water and drugged water. They were using morphine, which is heroin. And they found that rats that lived in the cage went to the water, the drugged water, very, very quickly. The rats that lived in the park were reluctant to go there. And they found that these rats that lived in the cage were taking on mass quantities of this stuff. They were dependent. They needed it to survive. They were addicted to the drugs. And they did all kinds of experiments with this, but the basic understanding is these guys were addicted to the drug water. They needed it to survive. So my question to you, how do you view the world? Do you view the world as your cage or as your park? If I view the world as my park, that means I have validation. I feel good about myself. I feel good about my environment. I have purpose. I respect myself. If I'm in the cage, what are the drivers that are keeping me there? What's going on inside that I'm putting a mask behind that I'm not addressing? Is it because I feel numb, because I feel less than worthy? Is it because I have depression, anxiety? Is it because of bad choices I've made and those bad choices have spun off and created more bad choices and bad circumstances? That's what's keeping me in the cage. So I have to know that. And I have to take those things one by one and unpack them, address them, put the resources on that thing that's keeping you in the cage, that's keeping you away from a fulfilling life, which is Rat Park. Guys, it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to ask for help, but you've got to recognize those things and you've got to reach out. I want you to get out of the cage if that's where you are. You can come out of there, but you've got to address those things one by one. And know this, just because you're over here in Rat Park doesn't mean you'll always be there. There may be things that come up in life. Life doesn't always work out the way we expect sometimes. We have ups and downs. And if I find myself gravitating towards the cage, what is the thing that's driving me over there? Isolate it, attack it until you overcome it, and get back over here, guys. Respect yourself. Stay out of the cage.